Good evening and welcome to GCSE Options Evening Year 9. This is Design Technology. We use the examination board Edexcel, and it is usually one of the best and probably the most easiest for us to use, even though, don't get me wrong, GCSE is not an easy option in design technology. But if you want something with a bit of a challenge and you like being creative and you like thinking things through, and in particular, if you're like me, you like to look at other people's designs and go, that's wrong, this is wrong, this I can do this better, this would be better like this. This is the subject for you. If you've enjoyed the creative side of Key Stage 3 in design technology, then you'll enjoy GCSE design technology. Don't get me wrong, it is not all let's make things, let's make this, let's make that. There is a lot of core knowledge to understand also, but don't let it put you off. You've got a few things to think about. We use Edexcel examination board for our GCSE design technology. It helps you gain awareness of the wider influences in design, especially when you look back at historical design and design movements that you may consider back in year 8 when you did your design technology project. You may look at cultural influences or environmental influences. You'll get the opportunity to work creatively designing and making, but you'll also have to learn about the technical and practical expertise and the processes that go behind it. You'll have to make decisions about materials and why you would use that material, and you need to think about the impact it has on the environment in the future. You need to understand that a product has an impact on a lifestyle, perhaps, or on a person's well-being. And of course, you see, we will look at good and bad design through product analysis, which we have done in the past. Now, the assessment for this GCSE is across 2 objectives. You've got component 1, and that is the written exam. And the written exam takes place in May the following year. So on the second end of the second year, the end of the second year of the course, it is a written examination of 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I would say make the most of that time. Now, what I've tended to tell my GCSE groups now is it's basically a mark a minute. So if you've got a 10-mark question, you've got 10 minutes to answer that question. And that doesn't mean you sit there tapping your pencil. It means that you think the answer through and you make your points and you explain them, you justify them. Now, your component 1 is worth 50% of the qualification, and your written exam is out of 100 marks. Now, looking at this slide, you can see that your exam paper is split into 2. There's section A and there's section B. Section A is based on what they call the core knowledge, and that is where you learn about new and emerging technologies and the impact on the environment, and there's 4 or 5 sections of those to learn. And then you've also got material based, and it's not just all timbers. You're learning about textiles, metals, systems and control to do with basic electronics. You've got timbers and you've got paper and board and plastics. Okay, so there's all of that comes under core. In section B, it's more of a specialist area. So in our case, in Earl Mortimer College, we usually do timbers, and that section of the exam paper will be based on timbers. All right, and that is 60 marks out of the 100 is based on a specialist area. The core is 40 marks. Now, there are some mathematical questions in there also, and you can see from this slide also where those marks come in depending on what section of the exam paper they are. Now, like I said, it's basically a mark a minute. So if you think about that when you're going into it, and don't forget, have a highlighter handy when you start this course in year 10, because you'll be expected to highlight key information at the very start in your core knowledge, as well as when you're learning how to answer the design technology examination questions. Now, you might wonder where the folder fits in. Well, the folder fits in component 2. 50% of the qualification again. So it's 50% is exam based, 50% of the qualification is a non-examined assessment, an NEA, and that's again 100 marks. The assessment overview, you will take a project based on a contextual challenge that is released by Edexcel, the exam board, okay? 1 year before certification takes place. So 1 year before the exam. It's usually released around about the 1st of June. So you usually get it after the May half term or Whit week half term, whatever you want to, whatever break it is. And that's when you get introduced. That is when you need to get to grips with this project, okay? The project will test your skill in investigating, designing, making and evaluating the prototype of a product. So you've got all those going together. The task is internally assessed by your teacher, and then it is externally moderated by the examination board moderator. These folders get sent off. The exam board asks for the folders at a certain time. The teachers have given their marks on a thing, and then the folder and the mark sheet gets sent off to the examination board, and the moderator looks at them, and then they decide whether they agree with the marks or they can change them. Now, if you look at the mark scheme, you can see that in objective 1, the investigate section, it's 16 marks. You have to do a lot of work to get those 16 marks. So make sure you look at the key criteria in the marking criteria. Objective 2 is the design section, and this is one of the biggest sections, and it's one of the most important sections. So you need to make sure, especially, that you get your objectives 1 underway with details, that when you go to the design section, you can solidify those marks. You calculate, if you got around 12 marks for the first section and 36 marks, you're already there. You're already getting around the target of around about 3 or 4. So you're almost there. Objective 3, you've got the make section, again 36 marks. So the 2 biggies are objective 2 and 3. And if design and make are your 2 strengths, then that's where you want to hit the top marks, okay? And then pick up to get your grade with your investigate and you evaluate. So like I said, recapping, the GCSE technology is based on 2 components. You've got component 1, which is the exam, which is now in 45 minutes, and component 2, which is where you and your teacher have more control over, which is the folder. Component 1, it is down to you, your revision and your drive to succeed. Okay, guys? So this is GCSE design technology. Now going on, what materials do you have to provide? Any materials you decide to use, resistant or graphic based. A donation towards larger materials for the manufacture of your item at the end of Key Stage 4 is appreciated, please, and goes back into the department. Additional costs or specialist equipment, you'll be required to collect inspirational support materials throughout the course. That means doing research and printing off. A3 display folder if you want to keep your design sheets neat without any folds, and a pack of sketching pencils, black fine liner, a tin of high quality pencil crayons is optional, but if they're water soluble ones or watercolor pencil crayons, they're even better for blending. Homework tasks will arise in the content and direction of the lessons and will vary in research, revision for tests, and actual examination questions that are set as a homework. Preparation for practical activities is also important as part of this, so homework will be set on Show My Homework. Deadlines have to be met. Any career within art and design, if you're thinking of choosing this subject for GCSE, including graphic design, interior design, 3D design, product design, industrial design. I went and did industrial design at university. This stood me in good stead to take me further into university and do industrial design. And then I left that, and I also did jewelry design once I left college initially, before then taking up and doing GCSE design technology as a teacher. In secondary education, engineering, this opens the doors to any areas of engineering, and we are short on engineers. So guys, if you're thinking about GCSE design technology and you've got a creative mind and you can think and you don't just go, well, that's a problem, I can't do it, and you can think outside the box, this is the course for you. Have a read through for yourselves and see what you think. See you soon. Bye.